Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Aries. That's Aries Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising for the month of January 2025. So we're in a new vibrational year. We've moved from an 8-year, which was the vibration of the universal year of 2024, into a 9-year, which is the universal vibration for the year 2025. Simple math, 2 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. 9 is the end of a cycle. It's a time when we are separating the wheat from the chaff and deciding what we want to bring into the new cycle that begins in 2026 and what we want to leave behind, what will we let go. Now, that process of letting go is going to be aided by the fact that 2025 is a year of shifting, big shifts in the energy as the outer planets move and change signs. Now, the only outer planet that's really staying still or staying in the sign that it's in as it starts the year is Pluto in Aquarius. And we remember what Pluto in Aquarius moving back into Capricorn, moving back into Aquarius, moving back into Capricorn felt like. It felt like there was this excitement for new beginnings, and yet the systems were still holding us back. The systems were still not quite, I don't know if I want to say disintegrated yet or just exposed. There still needed to be exposure of the symptoms. Now, when we move into 2025, we're going to have a similar experience, but with different planets. We have Neptune moving from Pisces to Aries in 2025, but then moving back into Pisces. So we have a little bit of a dip in the toe in the great cosmic, dipping the toe into the Aries energy, which is the energy of emergence. So that period of time this year is going to be significant as we see what emerges as Neptune, the planet of unity and the planet of consciousness itself, moves into a new stage, moving into Aries. And the same thing is going to happen with Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces this year, it moves into Aries. So you, Aries, are going to get a little bit of a taste. And Aries really is going to be, from 2026, the real tip of the spear. And Aries requires us to be our authentic self, not because Aries doesn't really have any kind of experience with being anything but themselves. And that's going to be what's required from us. And I think in a level of self-understanding, knowing what is important to us and taking steps to live a life that reflects that is going to be very important for everyone, not just for the Aries. But of course, you're the head of the spear. Now, the head of the spear often I might see as the North Node, and the North Node is at this time when we start in January 1st is still in Aries. So let's look at a chart here that can help just point this out a little better. All right, where is my where is my chart? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, hold on hold on 1 minute here. I'll find. Okay, so here we have an Aries rising chart, and here we have Mars. Mars starts the month in, as I said, in Leo, and then slips back into Cancer on the 6th of January. Yes, the very same 6th of January, which incidentally vibrates to a 16-7 vibration, which is the Tower card in the tarot, which is connected to the sign of Mars. So we know that January 6th is going to be a big day. We also and Mars is even though retrograde, still the ruler of the North Node, but the North Node on the 11th of January slips into Pisces. And the nodes of the moon have a mean retrograde motion. So the nodes of the moon, when you're reading them, when they're at the 30th degree of a sign, that's the beginning of their cycle. And when they're at the 1 degree or less than 1 degree of the sign, then they're at the end of that period of time. And we've been in this North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra for about 19 months. And of which, when we had eclipses in this, we had things such as the war in Israel and the unfortunate genocide of the people in Gaza. So the questions of war and peace come up when the nodes are in Aries and Libra, and we've had to renegotiate a lot of contracts because the South Node was in Libra, and the South Node is where we have to let go. But the South Node also helps, has our talents, and so some of the things that we're good at get tested. And in Libra, what has gotten tested in the last 19 months is the law. And so now, as we move into a new sort of 19 month, excuse me, period, where the direction of our evolution is not in the energy of Aries, but in the energy of Pisces. And Pisces is about healing, and it's about compassion, it's about imagination, but it can also be about delusion and illusion, and sort of being deluded by these visions that you have. And so we can find ourselves in quite the soup. Now, as I said, Neptune is going to be moving into Aries eventually, but I think March is when it moves into Aries. But it's very close to the end of Pisces. So as the North Node moves um, into Neptune, it is going to, eventually make a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is at the end of its 14-year cycle. So there is this, in its way, very amorphous energy that we're dealing with, which we can, in a way, impart our energy into, but we're not always sure how that's going to manifest itself. So it's going to be definitely an interesting year ahead, because it is a year of uh, both the dissolution of certain things and yet the rising up of others. And so it's really going to be one of those years where we feel like we're doing this. Okay. The other thing is we still have Chiron in Aries. Chiron's going to be in Aries for another couple of years. And we do have the third Chiron return this year. I believe it's either March or April. March and April this year are going to be, I'll give you a technical word for it, nuts. Okay, for everybody, not just for you, Aries. You are exceptional, but that's not the exceptional thing about March and April. Although I will say the eclipses, I believe there's one more eclipse. No. All the eclipses now, and none of them are going to be in Aries. Okay, so, but it's still close, and it's still close enough. All right, what else is going on? Well, the sun is in the 11th. It's in Aquarius. Oh, it's actually in, I'm sorry, it's in Capricorn first, then it's in Aquarius. And so the sun illuminates. And so for Aries, what gets illuminated is their public standing, their group affiliations, humanitarianism. So we see that here is Pluto, which is the only planet of the outer planets that's staying in its sign. We start the year. Yeah, actually, we start January with Venus in Aquarius, but then it quickly moves into Pisces, where it stays for most of the month, or all of the month, actually, or all of the rest of the month. Venus moving through your 12th house is really nice. Your loved ones will be close. You have Saturn and Neptune there. Saturn going through that 12th house has been a real challenge, bringing up a lot of issues for Aries. Things that maybe you thought you had settled, come back up again in your face for you to finally give them the sayonara. That sayonara comes with a lot of a practice of understanding forgiveness, um, and maybe an understanding that no matter how, um, in retrospect, you may have thought how you did something or what you did was terrible. It's still all part of the lesson. that you've asked yourself to learn in this lifetime. So I think self-knowledge is much more helpful than self-judgment. Because if you judge yourself, you generally judge all those around you. We do have a full moon first in Cancer at 24 degrees of Cancer. That is going to be close to Mars, and it's also on the Mercury of the United States, which in the Sibley chart, which is retrograde. It's all sort of happening in that fourth house, the full moon in the fourth house. Big feelings, big emotions. The full moon is happening on the 13th. That's a Monday in January. So that's a big deal. And then we also have a new moon in Aquarius, and that's at 10 degrees of Aquarius. That's going to be happening at the end of the month on the 27th. Um, and whereas the full moon is expressing in the 4th and 10th house. Those are the parental houses. And so we can expect a lot of mommy daddy stuff, seeing it in the outer world, and you might even experience it in your own world. And then the new moon is in the house of goals. And so this is an opportunity, that new moon in Aquarius, and also the start of the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac. I believe it's the wood snake, but I could be wrong about that. And so it's a different energy. We just coming out of a wood dragon year. It was a big manifestation year. And then I don't know enough about that. I haven't done any research on that or looked at any videos on that, so I can't speak to it. But it is a definite shift. Mercury starts in Sag, quickly moves into Capricorn, where it spends most of its time, and then towards the end of the month, it dips into Aquarius. So whereas Mercury was moving very slowly because of its retrograde cycle, and it spent so much time in Sag, now it's sort of flying through the next 3 signs. We can see that here. Okay, anything else worth mentioning? Uranus remains in the second house. Eventually this year it will be moving into the third house when it moves into Gemini. Yes, Uranus is moving into Gemini this year. So that is going to be very different than Uranus in Taurus. And then Jupiter here in the third house, expanding your mind, more and more and more and more information. Eventually, I believe in the summer, Jupiter moves into Cancer, where it really actually likes being. And so I think the second half of the year generally is going to be better for it's going to be emotional, but it's going to be focused on us, on the family, on and taking, um, expanding that, and maybe aid and help for families and for just generally all over the world, not necessarily just here in the U.S. or just for Aries. Okay. So I think that's what I want to say about the astrology. So now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do I'm going to stop the share here. Okay, hi. I'm going to do a card reading. And I think I decided I want to use here we go. I want to use the Light Seers Tarot. So it's this deck, for those of you. The Light Seers Tarot. It's really quite a pretty deck. Very modern. I like this deck because it's modern. I feel like when I read young people, I like to use this deck because the symbolism is just so right on, I think, when it comes to the worldview that they may have. Um, and it is their world to have, so they have the right to their worldview, right? All right, so this is a reading for Aries for the month of January. Now, this may or may not resonate with you, so if it does, keep it. If it doesn't, put it aside. Maybe come back later and see if it in fact did apply to you. You know, if you have the time to do such things. All right. I actually very rarely go back to see what I've said because um, I don't remember mostly what I say when I do readings. It's helpful that they get recorded because I wouldn't know. All right, let's see. Ooh, we start with the Ace of Wands. I like this. This is the Leo energy. On the Tree of Life, it is located in the crown, so we could put that right there, right? Kind of looks like, what was that? When the flames, the flames came down on the apostles, and they all had the flame on their head. What was that called? Oh my God, the nuns would be appalled. I don't remember what holy holiday that was. Ascension? It's not the Ascension. Anyway, there's a Catholic holiday. If it comes to me while I'm doing this, I'll remember you. I'll say it. It's when the flame of spirit comes down and sits on the apostles around their third eye and stuff. Like they went through an initiation process and they became more, in a way, holy. And holy means whole, not like holes in you, but more whole. Holy should really be WHOLEY, right? Because you're more integrated, you're more whole, you're more integrated into your higher self. When we see those flames and when we see the Kundalini rise and we realize that spirit, that we have a connection to spirit. And that's what this is saying. You have a connection to spirit. And of course, it's interesting that I chose this deck because Aries rules the head. And so there's a flame right there. And let's see what's challenging that flame. Nostalgia, the past, the past, anything that's stopping you, especially emotional stuff that may be stopping you saying things like, who do you think you are? Or what makes you think this idea is so great? None of the ideas you've ever done ever came out. You blah, blah, blah. All that like that negative, because it's a challenge card, negative energy that comes up when we have these great ideas. The other part can be you just don't want to, you would rather just perhaps not be responsible for it and just want to go back to childhood. So where you're not responsible, mommy and daddy's responsible. But you see how well mommy and daddy's doing. Mommy and daddy ain't doing so good, right? One of the things that Pluto in Capricorn was asking us to do was to become self-reliant, to grow up, to put our big girl and big boy pants on, because we realized that mom and dad raised us in an environment that they knew, but we're not in that environment, and we have to come to terms with um, acting in the environment we find ourselves in. And if there's anybody who can do that, it's Aries, because you guys have the best instincts. You don't have the best judgment necessarily, but you have the best instincts. Okay. All right, so underneath it all, here you are on the shore waiting for the wave so that it can take you far and wide, right? So this is about waiting for your opportunities, and opportunities will come, and especially in 2026, I think, but we'll see how the cards read. In the past, yeah, we have the Five of Pentacles. You understand what it means to be at the bottom. You understand what it means to be what was what's that expression, the bottom of the barrel, right? But you also have the capacity to rise up from that, right? And it may even be that you're at this point just as the year ends, and then just as the year begins, something comes to mind. Something comes to mind. You don't want the past, which is this, to influence um, the present moment. Okay, let's see what's in the sky. Ah, strength. Yeah, the spirit wants you to know, how I often read this card is that you can do this. You are strong enough. This is a manifestation card. This was 2024. This was the card for 2024. And so you are strong enough. You do have the heart of a lion. You do have the gentleness of the lamb. This is where the lion and the lamb are, next to each other. The lion is Leo, the lamb is Aries, right? Okay. And we have a lot of Leo energy. Okay, so for the most part, this is the card for January. It's the 10 of Wands. This is a Sagittarius card. This is about carrying a burden. And I would say that you're starting a journey with a lot of luggage, a lot of stuff. And I almost like you're moving to a new place, but as you walk the path, you're going to start unburdening yourself. And that's going to start in January. How it's seen from the outside, um, we have the devil here. There will be people in your life who will try to influence you. I think not to go down a certain path or to stay out of the light, and move back into anonymity, sorry, um, and separate yourself. It's very seductive. It's a very beautiful card. It's one of the sexiest devil cards I've ever seen. Let's see if we can get him closer. Maybe, maybe there. But you see, he's carrying a rock. So it's like, oh, you want to go swimming? Here's a pair of cement shoes for you. I mean, that's really what this is about, right? So watch who's offering you cement shoes. There may be people who say, you know what, you're not grounded enough. This is all you're not taking the steps you need to take to succeed. You're not, but it's a new world. Success has a different flavor. It's not the way we did it before. And Aries is probably the best suited for a situation like this, because if you use your instincts, you'll be good. Your domestic situation, we have heartbreak. So there's definitely been pain and heartbreak in your environment. Your heart has been torn apart by something. And I know certainly many folks felt that way after the election. So it could be that you're still sort of reeling from that, or it could be something else. It could be something else in your life. What I would say is when your heart is torn apart, while it is painful, it doesn't last forever. And then when you heal from that, or when you apply the healing to that, you'll realize that what you have lost was actually the thing that was preventing you from moving forward. Okay, so that's kind of what this says. But it also indicates um, there's that thing in Japan, and I know you guys are going to know what it is, and somebody's going to mention it. So thank you ahead of time, where they take broken pottery and they fill in where the shards are missing with gold. And it symbolizes that it is the challenges and the breaking of the shell of our life that we have to heal, but we heal it with gold because it's wisdom. That the breaking up of our lives, the shattering of our reality, is really an opportunity to bring in more light. You see? So remember that. I know doesn't bode well. These two are pretty much the energy of the month for you, right? Burdens and heartache, but in a way, you kind of have to know where you stand in order for you to decide what you're going to leave behind. What burdens are you going to leave on the road? What do you really need here, right? What do you really need? All right. Hopes and fears. The Nine of Pentacles. You want to feel financially secure. Yes, yes. I say yes to that. I think it's going to be a year, because whenever there's this much tumult, there's also the opportunity to create. It's like a real creative energy. And if we can get over the losses and dive into the creation of it all, we can actually create the world we want to see. But you have to know what that is, and then you have to act as if it's already there, because it is already there. And we have at the end, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is about wise counsel around finances. So I would suggest that that is something you may want to look at. You may not be all that interested in finances, but you find somebody wise, somebody you trust, who can help you to manage the the uh the resources that will come into you as you do your creative actions here. Okay, let me see if I can get, yeah, and then we have, I always pick three more cards to see if I can get a major arcana. And this is the Magician. The Magician reminds you that you are the arbiter of your own fate. With your focus and your intention, you create the world around you. That is what the Magician is saying. So, what type of world do you want to create? Do you want to create a world of the past, right? Or do you want to create a world of a possible future? Okay. This guy knows what he knows because he's been through this. You just don't come in good at this. You make people who have because they take the chance, and sometimes they fail and sometimes they succeed, but if you don't try, you don't know. And my husband, who's an Aries, loves the quote by Wayne Gretzky: all the shots you don't take, you miss. All right, underneath it all is the Ten of Cups. So perhaps a wish for happiness, a wish for it all, right? What is it all? Safety, happiness, opportunity, right? Um, we have the World card here. Is this the World? Yes. Which is about the ending of something and the birth of something new. She's coming out of this sort of ring here. I think it's a snake biting its tail. What is that called? Ebrus? Anyway, there's a word for it. It's how the guy who discovered the he wanted to know the structure of benzene, which is a benzene ring, which is six-sided carbon, I think, with something. I don't remember. I took chemistry many years ago. But he was trying to figure it out. It wasn't making any sense. And he had a dream, and in the dream, he saw the snake biting its own tail, and then he realized they were all connected. And then we have the Judgment card. So this is an awakening. This is a freeing. This is really so at the root of this is the freeing of your own soul, is letting go of perhaps the dreams of the past into the reality of the future, or the reality of the now, I should say, and freeing yourself up so you can remember that you are a spirit having a human experience. All right. Let's see. One more card. I think I will select um, a oracle card. I like to wrap these up with an oracle. I'm using the Tree of Life oracle because it is the one that was closest to me, and I do love it. So why not? Let's take a look at the Tree of Life. All right. So I started a membership on this channel, and I will do these for everybody. You don't have to be a member to get this. But I am, if you become a member, you'll support me. There'll be, at this point, I'm having two levels, one just like an introductory. You'll get a couple of extra things with that. And then the next level up, I'll be putting some information out about, like in the case in January, I'm going to be putting up, and this may be helpful for you, Aries. Now, if you become a member at the higher level, if you say, "Oh, I would love to know. I'm an Aries. I'd love to know what she says about that." I'm going to be doing something on the Mars retrograde cycle. So you can, if you become a member, you'll have access to that, and that may be helpful for an Aries. And maybe you just want to do it for a month just to get that little piece of information. So it's up to you. So let's see. What do we have here? What do we have here? All right. Netsack victory. So this is the Sephirah associated with Venus. And as I said, Venus starts in uh no, starts in Aquarius, moves into Pisces. Um in January for you. Okay, let's see what it says. Hope, love, and art. Hope, love, and art. Okay, that's it. The number 7 on the tree of life, Netzach, sits at the base of the pillar of mercy, observing our feelings and our place in nature, our artistry. It is where beauty is moved into being. The planet is Venus. Venus, goddess of love and overseer of all things that brings us joy through our senses. Finding her in your heart, in your appreciation of art and beauty, and in love in all its forms. We are often asked to share how we feel. Sometimes that can be frustrating, yet Venus and Netzach are asking you to be victorious over those feelings by working with them to get to the heart of them. Let them in, let yourself feel it, and if you need to walk in nature, be sure that the creatures of the earth be with the creatures of the earth. Grab a paintbrush or sing a song. So there is then so much, then so much the better. So this is really about uh, the process of seeing the beauty in life and creating that beauty around you. And while it may be difficult because this is a time of shedding, it's also uh, deciding to move into that energy of joy and creativity and a certain amount of freedom, because we are dealing with Aries, um, will help this journey will ease the journey. So don't forget that even though there's a lot ahead of us, and that not to forget to bring the joy each day into your life, because the worst thing that can happen is to allow people to take your joy from you. Do not allow people to take your joy from you. All right, Aries, I hope you found that helpful. As I said, thank you for joining me. Welcome my new subscribers. I should have said that in the beginning. And welcome to my course, Tried and True, have been with me for years. I appreciate all your support. And if you wish to support me in my channel by getting a membership, that's great. If you're not able to do that, I totally understand. I've been in the place where I haven't been able to do that. So we are all in different places, but wherever we are, know that you are loved and appreciated, and welcome to this community. Take care, everyone. Have a great January, and I'll see you on the other side for the astrology and the astrology and the tarot scopes. I'm sorry, for February. Take care, everyone. Namaste.